welcome back. I'm your host, Anisha Christensen. Welcome to You Know How This Ends, the podcast where every time you listen to it, you remember who you are, whose you are, where you're going, and that the results, the desires, the dreams that you are wanting are inevitable. It's just a matter of time because you know how this ends. It ends with all of your hopes come and dreams coming true. And I'm so excited to have our guest with us today. This is Makenzie Quintana. She is an assistant coach in my Creating Her Empire coaching business. She is a mother of four. She is a wife of 12 years. She is an energetic, light-filled, energetic worker. I forget what term we were going to use for that. Sorry. And best of all, she's my sister. Welcome, Ken.
Hi, thanks,
So,
Shisha.
yeah. So my name's Denisha, right? And I'm the oldest. Mackenzie is the youngest. And when I probably started with Shane. So in our family, there's three girls: Denisha, Mindy, Whitney, Shane, the only boy, and then Mackenzie. And I think it was probably Whitney or Shane that they couldn't say Denisha. And so they would say Shisha. And so it's stuck. And they still call me Shisha. And their nieces, their kids will often call me Aunt Shisha, which I love, absolutely love.
Yep,
Thank you for being
yep,
here,
yep.
Kens.
I am happy to be here.
So good. We were chit-chatting on over the weekend about just a bunch of stuff like realizations and revelations and insight that was coming in. I was like, we need to record a podcast on this. I've been wanting to have her on for a while now, and it was so, so powerful. She is Mackenzie, you're so intuitive and you're so insightful. She's a projector. So for those who know and understand human design, I always laugh because the saying is that every generator, which is what I am, every generator needs a projector in their pocket. And I'm like, I have like 12 projectors in my pocket. So either God's like, we really like you. We're going to give you lots of projectors, or you need a lot of help. We're going to give you a lot of projectors to help and support and love you. So either way, I love it. And so her gifts as a projector is sees things a little more clearly and a little more uh, openly than what some of the rest of us do. Do you feel like that's an accurate description sometimes, Ken's?
Yes, and then just my energy itself is able to help others also see more clearly themselves.
Exactly. So she's
Yeah.
so like I said, she's an assistant coach in my Creating Her Empire coaching business and provides so much value to our clients. Like literally, you are such a blessing. It's funny because we kind of we're like the opposite sides of the same coin. Like we both been living like just the most aligned, magnetic, beautiful, amazing life. And mine looks like all like doing all these things and go and put and not push, but like out there doing a bunch. And hers is like, just want to stay home. Like that is her most aligned best life. And so it's so funny because we're kind of these checks and balances for each other. Like I feel like I kind of call you out when and it doesn't really happen as much lately, at least not that I've been aware, but like I kind of call her out when she's like, we joke that her theme song is today I just well, how's it go? Today I don't feel like
Feel like
doing
doing
anything.
anything. Da, 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 da.
I just
I
want
just wanna
like
lay in my
I remember
bed.
calling you one time. It was like I don't know, 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. And I was like, hey, like I'm doing this. This is like, what are you doing? And you're like, oh, I'm just watching a movie. And I was like, what? You're watching a Like to me, that was like day drinking. Like you just don't do it. Like movies are for like nighttime, relaxing, weekend, whatever. And I was like, you're watching a movie in the middle of the afternoon on weekday? And that's what you were always doing, but you're so good and this is a whole nother conversation that we could have, but you're so good at honoring your cycles and honoring your energy and being in that space of trusting that everything is going to work out and you don't have to push or hustle or work hard to make it happen.
I feel like I'm finally getting there. Like it's been this ongoing process, but yes, I am finally feeling like I'm getting a better understanding of what that looks like for me. So thanks.
100%. And what we are both so passionate about, like I said, is getting more by doing less, being in receiving mode and literally becoming a vibrational match, a magnet for all of the best, most aligned, highest opportunities, people, resources, experiences to come to you. Like Like both of ours, like just major, like this is the thing, right? And so it's fun to see how we both do that in our own way. And that beautiful reminder that your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Your journey looks look like completely what's Mackenzie's way of doing life? What's Denisha's way
Yes.
of doing life? What's Katrina or Amy or oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember this. Kim's way of doing life.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
And it is that self like figuring that out and it doesn't always come overnight. Like I think we both are testament to that, that
Right.
it takes
100%.
some figuring out and it's gonna change and evolve. So yeah.
Yep. 100%. So the whole reason that we're doing this podcast is because I talked to her. So at the time of release, this will be have like happened like 6 weeks ago. But this on the day that we're recording this, we had just been talking a few days ago, and I called her up because I'd been traveling quite a bit and I'd been sitting quite a bit. And for me, for some reason, when I am sitting, if I'm sitting for too long, not only does my back like, ugh, but the backs of my thighs and my butt, specifically on my right side, they start getting just this like weird, tingly uncomfortableness, and it feels like all my energy is being squished, and my body, especially my thighs and my glutes right there, are being squished. And I was remembering that so I was thinking of that squish feeling, and it made me think of cellulites. So like plot twist, we're gonna be talking about cellulite today, which is like so random. So I don't know about those of you listening, but the back of my thighs, upper thighs, and my butt is full of cellulite. And
Same.
Mackenzie says. So the backside of my thighs, upper thighs, and my butt is full of cellulite.
Yes, same.
I know this isn't the same for all women, but it is very much, very common for many women. And it's been that way like since I was a teenager. It's not even a result of like kids and birthing five babies and gaining the extra weight and all that. Like that's like literally how my body has been since adolescence. I feel like it's probably same for you. Do you think?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so.
So we were kind of taught anyway, the whole nother story. But what it made me think of is I was at Yin on Fire. If any of our listeners have been to Yin on Fire, give us a shout out, give them a shout out. If you haven't been, it's amazing. It's in Cedar City in September usually, and it's incredible. And one of the instructors at one of the classes that I went to, one of her opening lines was, "I love cellulite." And I remember just being like, "What?" Like said no one ever, right? And I was just like, "Wait, what?" And she said, "I love cellulite because it shows us where there's still stuck energy. It shows
Mm.
us where things aren't flowing smoothly. It shows us where there is still healing to be done." And I was
Mm.
like, "Okay, I'm on board." Like this, I could see this, right? If our body is a reflection of our inner, and if the energy that we're in shows up, manifests itself in our body, then 100% yes. And anyway, so I got on this like crazy train of thought, and I was like, I need to call Mackenzie because the backside of our body represents our past. So not only our own past, but our ancestral past. And I was like, okay, so what is this? Because this is very much like an ancestral thing to have our backside of our bodies filled with cellulite. This is very much like how it is in our lineage for most of us, I would think. And so I was like, hey, what's going on in our ancestral lineage that caused this energy to get stuck in the backside of our body? Kenzie, do you have anything to add before I keep going?
Nope. Keep going.
Okay. And so I was also remembering a previous coach that I had worked with that really opened me up to the awareness of the difference between feminine and masculine energy and helped me to see how I was in mostly masculine. I wanted to be mostly feminine because I'm a woman. And Laurel Houston, and she's incredible. Go look her up if you haven't yet connected with her. She's fascinating, amazing, such an incredible coach and teacher and mentor. And in her modality of body mapping, she teaches that, oh, I forgot where I was going with this.
Cellulite and the balloon analogy, right? Is that where you were gonna go with it?
No,
That's where I wanted you to go with
I know I
it.
was gonna go there on the other thing, but there's a piece I was bringing in with like the backside. Oh, about the butt and stuff. Okay. And in her body mapping modality, she teaches that the different shape of your butt, this is so interesting, the different shape of your butt and what just like your butt and upper thighs in general, that has to do with your capacity to lift yourself up, to go from like a sitting down position to standing up and then supporting you along with your hips and your lower body, right, in standing. And I was like, okay, where in the past have my ancestors not stood up for themselves? Where are we? And for me, it kind of came into like, when I'm sitting too much for too long, I feel that like all my energy is being squished. So where is there like some kind of energy? And some of you may resonate with this, right? Like where is there an energy in your life or in your ancestors that feels like you've been squished? Your hopes, your dreams, your desires, your energy, your light has been squished out.
And not only that, but we had talked about how the chair, with this analogy of sitting in a chair and feeling squished, it's the what are we squishing our limitations? What limitations are we giving? Are we squishing ourselves up against?
Yeah.
Because you don't have to sit in the chair, but yet there's this chair that we choose to sit down in because it's comfortable. And so
Yeah.
we're literally sitting in these thoughts and beliefs that are comfortable because it's probably what is said and heard and around us and in our families and whatnot. But are they actually serving us? And for most of us, a lot of them are not.
100%. But yet we're choosing them. It's not like you're being forced into a chair, like you're sitting in that chair, and that chair is the doubts and the limiting beliefs and the lack and the scarcity and the fear. And we're like choosing to go and sit in that chair. Like, why would we do that? And yet we do subconsciously
Yes.
all the time.
Yes.
The and really bringing in the awareness to that. My husband's an archaeologist, and I remember him telling me when I would bring this stuff up to him, he was like, "Well, your body's not made to sit." Because Makenzie, like her natural inclination, when I first brought this in, she's like, "Oh, where do we need to allow ourselves to sit instead of stand?" Right? And I was like, "Well, but actually, our bodies are not made to sit. That's why a lot of people are having so many problems, physical problems lately, is because we are sitting so much, and our bodies are not made to sit. They're made to stand. They're made to move." So there's definitely a piece in there of where are you, like if you're sitting, where are you not allowing yourself to stand and feel supported? Oh, Kenzie, I think this is a piece that we hadn't talked about yet. How can you feel supported in standing
Mm,
instead of feeling like you need to be sitting all the time, and
yes.
especially sitting on this chair of doubt and lack and limiting beliefs?
Yeah. Well, and then we talked about how, like, as women, it's a lot of times we don't feel like we can stand up for ourselves because of just the society that we live in. Of course, I think we're definitely starting to get away from that, and more women are feeling more supported and standing for themselves, but also but then at the same time I feel like we are going a little bit too far over and not allowing for ourselves to be supported as well. Like it's more of the independence of I can do it myself and I don't need any help. That's not serving us either necessarily. We need to also, as women, receive the support from, especially, the men in our lives specifically. And so
Yes.
there's this balance of um, supporting and standing up for yourself and also being supported and allowing yourself to be supported.
So what are some of the things, Kens? I always try and make sure on the podcast that we're not just like talking about what the problem is, but that we're actually offering some solutions, right? So
Hmm.
in your life, what are some things that you have done to create more support for you and to feel like more aligned and supported in your life? Because again, I'm the oldest in my family. She's the youngest. My baby is 10. Her oldest is 9. So we're 10,
11.
9, 11. Thank you. So we're in these completely opposite realms of as far as what our day-to-day living is. And I have super consciously created a lot of support for myself, but that is going to look different with older kids. And I'm happy to talk into that. But I'd love to hear from you, Kens. What are some of the things that you've done to feel supported in your life as a
I
wife,
think
as a businesswoman?
Yeah, I think a big part was just communicating to my husband and my kids like my desires and my expectations of like, hey, we're a family. We all live here. I'm not gonna be the maid and I'm not gonna be the chef. And like I'm your mom. I'm not your I'm not your butler, you know, like I want this to be a team effort. I want us to work together to make the home be something that is a functioning unit for all of us. And so like my kids do chores and they complain about it a lot of times, but like I always just try to remind them like this is you're part of the team of our family. And so we like this is part of you helping out in the home. Um I think another big piece though is again for me has been that allowing of letting it look different than how I would do it and how I would maybe even like it done and when I want it done.
And
And a
releasing
perfect yes, releasing control. And a perfect example of that is this closet actually behind me that if I opened it now, it looks actually pretty great. But for the past month or two, it has just been a mess. It's where we have like all of our games, our card games and board games. And of course, the kids are in and out of it all the time. And so it's just been a mess. And I've had in my mind for a while, like, oh, I need to organize that. And this has actually been really beautiful because I didn't even express, like, I like to organize things. And so I was totally just like, okay, yeah, when I have some time or like when it feels like, I'm in the mood, then I will organize that closet. And yesterday, my oldest son, unbeknownst to me, just came in and organized the closet for
what?
me. And I told him, I was like, Liam, I think you read my mind. I literally have been like for the past 2 weeks been thinking that I want to organize that closet, and you just did it for
Oh,
me. But and so and that in that example, organizing it is not something necessarily that would have been like a oh but I've had similar experiences with other things where I'm like, oh, I need to do that. And by just allowing for space for someone else to do it, it's eventually gotten done. Did it get done the moment, the time, the way that I actually wanted it to be done? Maybe not, but I didn't have to do it. And so I would like that was, that's better in my mind. Me not having to do it and having it done a little bit differently or at a different time maybe is better than me having to do it and it take from my energy and the things that I want to be doing. So
100%. One of my sayings, I got it from my sister-in-law Brittany, is
yes.
70% good enough and I didn't have to do it is good enough.
Yes, yeah. And
But
I
there,
probably learned that from you, from the you from her.
you're
But
welcome.
yeah.
Exists, right? But it's
Yes.
funny because there's some people that I have shared that with and they're like, oh no, 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 no. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, and
Yes.
again, we each get to choose what we want our life to look like. And there might be some things that are a non-negotiable. They need to be done, 100%. But so
Right.
what things can they be 70% good enough, right? Like in this example, one of the things that she was telling me was like mowing the lawn. Like to her, like 70% done, and she didn't have to do it. Good enough on the lawn. Like maybe there were some stray, pieces and missed corners and stuff here and there, but she didn't have to do it. And even as you were talking and sharing that, Mackenzie, I was just thinking like, wow, you could have handled that completely differently, right? You could have
Yeah.
been, no, 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 like, let me do it. I'll do it. I want it done this certain way. Like, I'll just do it. But instead,
Yeah.
you were in that receiving mode. Your intention was out there that I want the closet to be organized. You were okay whether you did it or someone else did it. You were completely fine. You just wanted it to be done. You were open
Yes.
to the time frame. You weren't like having a deadline, right? And the universe brought it and brought it to you and completed it for you and you received it. Like that
Yes.
is such a beautiful example of, like you said, a very, very simple way that it happened in a very, very simple, non-consequential example. But how does that now relate to the big things?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. Letting go of the timeline, letting go of how it feels like it needs to be done. And I think a big piece too was I had made the decision that I was going to clean it when it felt like the right time for me. I wasn't going to push and like, okay, I'm going to put that on my to-do list and I'm going to get it done today. It was just, oh, that's something that I want to have done. And so when it feels right, I'm going to do it. And that feeling never came. Probably because I don't know, someone else was going to do it for me, so I didn't have to, and I was able to just enjoy my day. I think I was doing schoolwork with my kid when I was at the time, and so with the time that my son was organizing it, and so I was able to be using my energy for something that was probably much more important than organizing the closet.
Well, that goes back to again with allowing ourselves to be supported, getting clear on what are the things that only you can do,
Yes,
only do those things. Like you
yes,
spending time with one of your other kids, helping them in that particular activity. Probably you were the only one that could do that. Like you're
yes,
unhealthy good, your husband could, but he was at work, right? So
yeah,
Liam couldn't do that, but he could go and clean the closet. And so,
yeah.
but you focusing on, I'm only doing the things that only I can do, and I'm either delegating or just letting the other things not happen
Oh, yeah,
until it brings you joy. Like you said, it does bring you joy sometimes to clean and organize things. Same thing here. But other times I'm like, are you kidding me?
yeah,
There's no
yeah,
way, right? It's not at all a joy or a priority.
yes.
Go
And I
ahead.
think that has, and I've shared this with you, Denisha, that was something that came to me very, very clearly over the summer, that I just felt God so clearly saying, like, I don't want you using your energy, mental energy and physical energy, on things that's just busy work, or that's just that is not what you actually like, that is the most important things for you to be doing. And so I've since then just been so trying to be so much more intentional
Yes.
with, like, is like you're saying, is this the best thing that I can do with my mental and physical energy, or maybe not necessarily the best thing, but what is in alignment for me, and then letting everything else just kind of trickle out and take care of itself.
Yeah, 100%. So let's actually speak into this a little bit because Mackenzie and I are both real estate investors. We're involved with the First Flip Challenge, and a part of the First Flip Challenge, the whole goal of it is to get you into your first property in 90 days. Instead of just being like, oh yeah, like I'll do the real estate down the road. It's like, no, let's get you into your first property. Let's get you into a deal in 90 days. And so it's meant to be a challenge, right? Like lots of other 90-day, challenges that are out there. It's meant to be a challenge and it's within a container. So these very clear boundaries and clear expectations of what you're supposed to be doing. And it's beautiful and it's amazing. And we've helped hundreds and hundreds. I think I don't know, our goal is to get help a thousand people get into their first properties. And I think we're in like the 200s or something like that. So for those of you that are listening, if you're like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to be a real estate investor, literally you get into your first deal in 90 days. And if for whatever reason you don't, like you get into it at like we did it the first time and we got into our first deal in 100 days. Okay, right? Like still super duper win-win. And we were doing that challenge over the summer, Mackenzie and I both with our husbands, and it's a lot. It's 10 to 15 hours a week of watching education and implementing and doing all these actions, right? And some of it can feel like busy work. And again, getting clarity on, okay, this may be busy work, but it's fun and it's enjoyable and it's lighting me up versus, okay, this is busy work and it feels so out of alignment, so not at
Yes,
all what is really going to get me the deal. And I think that's what you were realizing at that point, Ken,
yes,
was this is all busy work. It might be super great and it might be super helpful for other people, but for me, it's not.
yes, yes, 100%. That's exactly, like, I just so clearly felt God being like, please, please do not use your precious mental and physical energy on doing all of these things that you are being required, like that you're being invited to do, because you do not need to do them. Like, I will guide you. I will guide you to follow the ones that you need to be following in order to get where you want to go, because just like, yeah, like I like it was so strong for me of him just being like, please, I'm begging you, don't do all the things because it's not necessary.
So
And
amazing.
it was so freeing, and so just really, really life changing, honestly, to like have that realization and step into that trust that, like, okay, I've told Anisha, like, I think most of my life I've had like teacher's pet syndrome where I'm like wanting to just
I think a
do
lot of
like,
us do.
yeah, like I wanting to be the straight A student, and like if the teacher tells me to do these things, I'm gonna do them. And that's where I was at the beginning of the challenge, and that's the headspace that I was in, was like, okay, I'm gonna do every little thing. I'm gonna get all the, get all the checks, all the boxes checked. And then about halfway through, God was just like, that is this is not necessary for you. Please stop. And then we were able to just be in such more aligned energy, and we ended up getting into our first deal. I think ours was like maybe 125 days or something like that. Like it was, I think it was like just over a month after the challenge had ended. So, like you're saying, still like 90 days versus 120 days. Like we still, it was a year ago, I wouldn't have ever believed that we were even doing this. So, like, it was still just really, really amazing. So,
So
yeah,
incredible. And I loved your example of that, Kenzie, of I'm going to do it my way. And this is something that we just coached our women on. We had a coaching call that we lead just before this. And that is something that we were talking to our women about of letting, and I've, if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard me say it 100 times, but what does life in alignment, in authenticity look like for Makenzie? What does it look like for Denisha? What does it look like for you? And being willing to trust that path because it is going to look completely different than what you might think. Maybe not completely different, but it is going to be different. And you are not meant to live like someone else. Sure, take some examples, take
yeah,
some feedback, take some insights, take things that you like, but be open to it looking so unique and authentic and in more ways than just business, right? What
yeah,
could life in alignment look like? I mean, we're in a time when people are traveling the world with their children, when they're living out of an RV and traveling around the country. Like there could
yeah,
be people that would be like, I can't believe that you're taking your kids out of school. I can't believe that you're doing this. I can't believe you're doing that. No, this is alignment for us. And you did that.
yes.
Mackenzie started homeschooling a year ago now, right?
I think 2.5 actually.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, yeah. This
What? You've
is
been doing
ours.
it for 2.5 years now?
I think so. I don't know. Don't make me stop and think, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's crazy. But I remember because I have no desire to homeschool. And I remember she like posted on social media like advice, I'm just starting homeschooling. What's your advice? And I posted, don't do it. And she was like, not helpful. I was like, sorry. Like that for me is like, oh, you're gonna do what? But
And I was the same way though. Like
yeah, I
I
know.
like always was like, no way, ever, ever, ever will I homeschool. But then just like as life kept moving along, I just kind of started heading in that direction. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm supposed to homeschool. And my husband was like, I don't think you're the homeschool type. And I'm like, I know, I think that's why I need to do it though. Because I want to be the homeschool mom type. Like I want, and so anyways, yeah, that could be a whole other
Right.
tangent. But
So
again, that's what was became in alignment for our life because of the way my husband's work schedule and the life that we want to have with our kids. Like that is just what felt in alignment for us. And so I stepped into trust and here we are 2.5 years later. And
and you're even doing the homeschool in your own way. You're not like following
yes,
what anyone else says you should or shouldn't do. Like you're doing that in
yeah,
your own way, which is so
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah, yep,
So, so
absolutely.
beautiful. What you were saying just reminded me of how often are we trying to force our lives to look like someone else's or a preconceived idea or trying to control how they should turn out
Yes,
instead of living in that place of trust. And it reminded me back to the whole cellulite conversation, which is like
yes.
such an interesting thing to talk about, right? Cellulite, and I am 100% not a like physiological expert or anything, but I remember again from this class, and I can't remember the ladies' names. I was like, I really want to find out who they were because I want to have them on the podcast to share with you with their expertise because it was absolutely fascinating, this whole I love cellulite idea, right? And one of the things that she helped me to understand, and again, I might totally butcher this, so like legal disclaimer, right? Um, the way that I remember it being described was cellulite actually comes when there is, okay, so the analogy that makes most sense to me is if you have a water balloon, and it's filled with water, it's not like filled to the brim with water, but it's like filled, it's like, this gushy, smushy water balloon, and you wrap a net around it, and then you squish the water balloon, and it tries to squish through the net. You know what I'm talking about? And it
Yes,
gets like bulging pieces coming through the net.
yes,
And that's what cellulite is it's our under skin whatever stuff that is trying to push through the fibers and the layers of what the body has there. I want to say it's like the fascia and different things, but again, I might just be totally making that up. It's trying to push through and squeeze through there. And so again, going back to this analogy, like, okay, why in our family, in our ancestral line, why do we have this cellulite on our butts and upper thighs? Where are we trying to push
Mm-hmm.
against what's there? Where are we trying to squeeze through? Where are we trying to, instead of relaxing and receiving and trusting, where are we trying to push harder than we need to? So I'm curious what comes up for you with that, Makenzie. And then, of course, all of our listeners would love to hear your insight of that. Please put it in the comments, in the, please reach out to me, send me a DM. Let's have a conversation around that. Where are you pushing in life that you could, oh, and even when I say that, like even all of my work I've done to be in more trust, it's like still this piece of like, oh, to let go even more than I already have done and already do, and to trust even more and to release even more control. Like that can be really scary and really
Yeah,
terrifying.
absolutely. And when we were talking about this the other day, my mind went to because I right now my passion is slow living. I am like Denise like she said, I like to watch I don't actually watch TV in the middle of the day anymore. I find
Sure, you don't. Sure.
unless I'm on my period, then I allow myself to just rot on my bed for a day or whatever, but watching shows. Um, but I just love slow living. I love and not necessarily just slow for the sake of slow. And this could be a whole other podcast episode. So I'll try to keep it brief because I am super passionate about it. But just when I say slow living, it's more like intentional living. I feel like we are, going back to this idea of pressure with social media and in the world that we live in, there's just so much pressure to go and get this and be this person and do that thing, and we see everything that everyone else is doing, and so then now I want to try to do that with like them they are, and which and I had that thought earlier when you were talking about um being in alignment rather than trying to make it look like someone else's life. I think that's a kind of a disservice that social media can do for us sometimes, but this just going back to the whole letting go, releasing is for me it's being still. And I'm for years, a year or two now, I've just been so in love with the scripture that says, "Be still and know that I am God." And it was actually just on our call the other day.
Glad you're bringing this up.
Yeah, it was just on our call that I was like, wait, I actually went to like I was like first off I was like I don't think I've even actually looked up where that scripture is or like what the context of it or anything. But then it was also like I wonder what like the actual Hebrew word. Well, I found out it was in Psalms in the Old Testament. And I was like, okay, so I wonder what the actual Hebrew word for be still is. Like I wonder if there's maybe something that's been lost in translation. So I went to, good old Chat GPT and I asked what like I just said like I want a deeper dive, and it was we were both just like, oh yes, yes. And again, Denisha, I don't know if you want this to be like a whole other episode because we
We can
can.
go deeper dive into it later, but I think our listeners
Okay.
would be like super annoyed if we didn't at least say the thing.
Yes, so the Hebrew word for well, okay, so first it there's another okay, so we'll stick with just be still. Okay, I'll try to be concise. So be still, it says according to ChatGPT, says literally means let go, release, cease striving, or even relax your grip. Which I was like, oh my gosh, it's the water balloon. Like being like, why is it being pushed up against the netting? It's because we're squeezing it. But if we just relax our grip, it's not being forced against the net. Our cellulite isn't being forced out of or that tissue in our body isn't being forced out. So it says it's often used of loosening one's hands or letting something fall. So the phrase be still and know could be rendered more vividly, let go and experience that I am God, or cease striving and come to intimate awareness. that I am God, which I just love so, so much. And I think, and I could see both of our body language. It's just like, oh, yes. Like, and I think probably most of the listeners might be feeling that as well. Is just this, like, I think we all have this longing for that, but we don't know how to have it, don't know how to feel it because of the world that we live in, and this is, this society cultural that we have. So that'll have to be another episode because
100%. So, our invitation to those of you listening today, as you are feeling this, receiving this, hearing this, is where can you cease striving? Where can
Mm,
you let go? Where can you loosen your grip and receive and allow instead of pushing, forcing, holding tight, hustling, grinding? Again, this is nothing new. This is the same old thing that you hear from me all the time, but it's a continual reminder and a continual invitation to release even more. Like I said, even with all like Mackenzie's work and all of my work that I've done, like as we're talking about this, we're both still like, ah, right? And so an invitation, to ponder on maybe even just one area to start out with. Where's one area where you could loosen your grip a
well, and
little,
I think probably most people have something that's coming to their mind right now. As you're listening to this, there's probably something that's coming
at
to your
least one
mind
area. Yep.
that you're like, oh, yeah, I could loosen up there a little bit. I could release, I could allow for someone else to support me here.
And it's not even so much with like I'm gonna release, I'm gonna let go, I'm gonna cease striving, and then I'm just gonna like throw my hands in the air and not, like whatever happens, happens. I mean, there is an
Right,
element of that, but it's not an I don't care attitude. I found myself like kind of being in that like, oh, like I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. And that's not in alignment either. It's doing
right.
with the intention that because I am letting go, because I am ceasing striving and I'm stepping into thriving, because I'm going from push to allow. I am setting
And
the
trust.
and trust. Yes, I am setting the intention that because of that, by my doing that, I actually receive on a higher level. I
Yes,
actually enjoy and I am supported in that process and that I receive the blessings of that. Does that make sense?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And I
that's
think we've both practiced that a lot. We've and like I don't, we're still both still practicing that and embodying that even more. And but I think we've both absolutely seen evidence of the
oh,
truth of it. And like,
100%. We could sit here and tell story after story
yeah,
after story of how that has been a blessing in our lives. And I'm sure you'll hear all the listeners, I'm sure you will hear all of the stories over time. So we're not
yes,
going to share them all today. Mackenzie's already shared some beautiful ones of how that has have come to pass in her life. So thank
yes.
you. Oh, I feel like that's a really great place to end, Kenz. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add on with that?
No, yeah, that also feels good. Just maybe an invitation again to once you're done listening to this, don't turn on anything else. Don't just move on to the next thing. Just spend, even if you need to set a timer and just set a timer for 2 minutes, set a timer for 2 minutes to just sit in this energy and just imagine in your body what it would feel like if you just tried to release a little bit more than you have, or maybe it's your first time even imagining what that would even look and feel like, and just see just see what that would feel like to just surrender to God's will and let go, and let God guide you even more than they already have.
Because remember, everything that you want wants you back. You know how this ends. You're guaranteed your hopes, your dreams, everything is there for you. Everything is waiting for you. Everything is already coming to you. So, how can you release this grip, this vice-like grip on it, right? And
Exactly.
relax into it and
Exactly.
allow it to flow to you instead of you trying to force it into existence. And
Exactly.
thing to say, it's not always as easy to do. And because of that, we, Makenzie and I, would love to support you in that process. Like I said, we have our Creating Her Empire coaching program where we literally do this. Like I said, we were just doing this on our coaching call before we hopped on here, guiding our ladies through that. We are this beautiful, magical, I feel like we're just this like unicorn program that guides women into their most beautiful, aligned, authentic life and having it feel on the outside the way, feel on the, sorry, look on the outside as good as it feels on the inside. And bringing in real estate investing as the masculine piece to that feminine feel, the masculine piece of the logical next steps, the logical, practical, take these steps, create the wealth, create the legacy of financial freedom for you and for your family to be there
Hmm.
again to support you in your hopes, your dreams, your desires. For me, real estate was always something that I was like, oh yeah, like as soon as I have, $500,000 sitting in the bank that I'm like, gee, what should I do with all this money? At that point, for sure, I'll invest in real estate because everybody knows that at some point, like you really do need to have a real estate portfolio to some extent or another. And it was me, it was God flipping the switch for me and realizing, oh, real estate isn't the piece I do later. It's the piece that brings everything together. It's the piece that creates the foundation for this life that you are desirous of. And both, so I started doing it. A few months later, Makenzie started doing it because we were able to see how we can do it without having all the money sitting in the bank, right? Without using your own credit. And it really has become this way to be supported even
Yes.
more fully. So Mackenzie and I would love to invite you into our Creating Her Empire coaching program, bringing all of this in together. Let us love you. Let us support you. Let us help you create the most magical, amazing life that even more magical than you ever thought possible. Because for both of us, we
Yes.
never thought we'd be doing this.
Yes.
Not the
Yes.
coaching, not the real estate, not the working together, not the living the lives as we are, where we are, like never, never in our
Yep.
wildest dreams. And it's just
Yep.
getting better and better. I feel like
Yep.
not even like every year, it's like every month. It keeps getting
Yes.
better and more magical and more dazzling and delighted and just and fun and peaceful.
Yes.
All at the same time. This is crazy. Like how can it be all those things at once? It just is. It really
Because
is.
God loves you and He loves me and He loves everyone and He wants us all to have that life. So,
It's so fun because literally like leading and guiding us to the most wonderful women that we get to work with and seeing how they are changing their lives. I always say it's like the woman is always 99% of the time the one who feels the pull to make those shifts and changes first. Goes clear back to Adam and Eve.
yep. Yep.
He's
Yep.
like, we need to make some changes. Adam's like, nah, we're good. And Eve's like, no, for real. I'm making these. Adam's like, okay, fine, let's do it. Whatever. And in most cases it will be the women who are feeling that pull first. And I know there's a lot of men. I'm always surprised at how many men I hear from that enjoy my podcast. And so it doesn't have to be that way. Like I know a lot of really intuitive, amazing men as well. And wow, what a beautiful partnership they can
Yes.
be with their wives and really standing up. And again, that's a whole other conversation for another
Yeah.
like the man to preside and provide, the woman to nurture and nourish. So we'll just leave that tangling tentacles dangling for you for a future podcast. And on this one, we just leave you with that invitation to please share with us how this made you feel, what insights you're receiving. And Mackenzie helps me in doing free clarity calls, Queen strategy calls to help get see where we might be able to help support you in your journey. So would love to invite you into one of those. We'll have the link
Yes.
down below in the comments. And just wish you the most beautiful, magical, aligned, still day.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for being here, Kens. Love you tons.
My pleasure. Love you.
Bye, everyone.